All right, let's go. Welcome to another episode of eCom Raw Reality, where we talk all things e-commerce, Shopify, Meta, Google, email marketing, SMS marketing, whatever we need to, right? We need to stay on top of things. And in this one, I want us to talk about scaling up and scaling down. And basically, what I want us to talk about is variability in e-commerce and knowing when to push, when to pull back, because it's never going to be the same during a full year. And I think this is more of a mindset thing to some extent, although it's still data related. And by that I mean that right now, basically it's June, right? And as you can see, I'm outside. A lot of people are outside. Many are in vacation, especially in Europe, but this applies more or less around the world, in the US as well, more or less the same 4 seasons. And I would say there's a science. It's actually a mix of science and art when it comes to e-commerce and what to do at different times, because right now, for example, it's Sunday, and for most brands, actually, this is a good day of the week, because most people are at home, outside, but they do have more free time. So that does mean that they'll spend more time online, they'll spend more time with their friends, they'll be in a better mood, they might want a dopamine hit from buying something online, and basically, this is when you need to know when to push and when to pull back. And this is more so on a weekly basis, but even if you think on a monthly basis, right? For example, if you have a goal for a month and you hit it, let's say 5 days before the month actually ends, right? In terms of profit or revenue, then what are you actually going to do? Are you going to pull back just because you know you've hit that actual goal? Or will you actually push harder because things are going well, right? So these are questions that are very important, because I've actually seen both things happen. Meaning that, for example, I'm on the side of just pushing more of what works, right? So for example, I'm aware that when things don't work out, you don't try harder. Like, there's no point. It's just like trying to have the fastest run during a rainy day. It probably won't happen. You know, it's almost impossible, you know? So you have to use logic during these times and see where you're at. Because, for example, June is unlikely to be one of the best months for most brands. There are two exceptions, the ones that are heavy on Father's Day and the ones that are heavy on basically Memorial Day. I think that was the one that just passed. Or let's say a mix of Memorial Day and 4th of July. Those are the big ones, but otherwise, June just isn't one of the best months. July, as I said in a previous video, could be just because you have better offers, but right now, and this is something that I'm saying again and again and again, because it's true. You need to know when to focus, for example, on actual, let's say, strategy. And also, you need to know when to focus on actual, let's say, execution, right? Because execution is different from strategy. For example, even myself as an agency owner, right? I have to do, in most cases, more strategical thinking and less execution, just because the execution part is pretty easy. Like, even this week, I'm actually planning to test together with my team some kind of SOP creation tool, so we can just like simplify, you know, the things that are repetitive and know exactly how much time they take, what are the steps, you know, because it's repeatable. It's nothing amazing, hard, or anything. You know, like basically almost anyone can actually learn it and then apply it. So that's how you make business more predictable. And who doesn't like predictability, right? Because when you have predictability, pretty much you also have some control. You know what will happen, and you can worry about other things. You don't have to worry about that one thing, such as like what are going to be our sales this month. I mean, I can forecast for almost any brand that I work with. I can pretty much forecast how the month will go, because there's no surprise. I know what's the benchmark, and I know there's going to be better performance if we have a good offer, and if we don't have a good offer, then nothing will actually change. So this is where you actually need to be, I would say, realistic and be aware of what is happening during a specific time, right? Because you won't be getting any kind of amazing results if you're not trying anything new. It's just like what Albert Einstein was mentioning, insanity. Basically, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing again and again and expect different results, right? It just won't happen. So right now, I would say that a lot of what you can also do during a slower time is to, first of all, be aware of it, and second, prepare for what's going to come, right? Because, for example, I do have, fortunately, now business owners that I work with that are aware that different times give you different results, and some months are better than others. And this is especially, I would say, in your favor when you work with them for, let's say, 1 or 2 years, because at that point, basically, you've already gone with them through, let's say, a July, an August, a Black Friday, right? So they know what's possible, you know what's possible, and you know that there's a huge difference between what happens, let's say, in November and what happens in June. And to make this practical, right? In terms of action steps, so it's still about getting new ideas and then testing them, right? Because, for example, I work with multiple brands where price testing hasn't been done, where, let's say, first-party attribution data tools haven't been used, where no one has thought of creating a better offer, better messaging. And what do I mean by that? Well, think of it like this. When you're selling something, right? For example, let's say a drink, right? You have so many drinks out there. There are the alcoholic ones, there are the energy drinks, there are the functional ones, right? And if you think logically about it, which one is the best one? Well, the third one, the functional one, because that's actually good for you. It doesn't really harm you, so it makes you feel good, and it doesn't come with any like side effects, right? Like alcohol or like energy drinks, right? It doesn't really harm you. And if you think about it, there are multiple tools out there that you can actually, let's say, have a different angle for, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, think of a NutriBullet, for example, right? Or a blender in general, a simple blender, right? Basically, a blender, if you frame it properly, basically it can make you functional drinks, right? Which can focus on you getting more protein, on you getting more nutrients, on you getting, let's say, zinc, maybe, right? Maybe you're deficient in zinc and you make a drink that has zinc in it. So there are so many ways to think about it that almost any product out there, especially that you use again and again, has like a higher perceived value. And this is something that I'm also thinking about, because you get to make these connections while spending time and thinking, right? Or asking ChatGPT. And then, of course, these things are the same things that I'll discuss with the brand owner, the brand team, whichever I work with, right? Different teams, different sizes. There was a cat here, but she or he didn't want to be, I guess, in the video, flew away. But to almost wrap it up here, what I would say is that during different times you need to know what to do, right? Because you can't always win, right? And by winning, it's just having more sales and more profit. You know, that's the thing. It's just like you don't expect yourself to be a millionaire at 18, right? It takes time. And in e-commerce, there's a time when you can push, right? And there's a time when you just have to pull back and be more defensive, right? So this is more so about offense and defense. There are different times when you need to be more on the offense because there's a gap, right? And other times when you just need to be on the defense because otherwise you'll be out of business probably, right? So overall, I would say that's it. Basically the variability and knowing when to push and when to pull back, right? This is what the data will tell you more or less. Do things work right now? If they don't, then don't try to push harder, you know, because if something isn't working and you're trying to push it, then basically you're trying to work against the wind. You know, it's like the wind coming your way and you're trying to go exactly in that direction. You know, it's just going to be harder, so not worth it. Anyway, that's it for this one, and until next time, peace out.